Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here, and back with episode 2 of Cardano Craic. I have Paddy here with me again. I think Paddy is committed to doing the weekly show. Have you, Paddy?
Yeah. I'll be here to annoy you every
week. So I'll just give people a few minutes to come in, because generally when we go live, it just takes a few minutes for YouTube to give the notifications. Anyone that wants to share it out, do appreciate that as well. We'll go through, similar to the last time we done it, we'll do kind of some of the updates, what's going on Cardano. World Mobile have put their testnet out there. The Earth node operator NFTs are available to be claimed now as well. We'll talk a bit about that, and any questions anyone has, make sure and throw them into the chat box down below as well, and we'll answer any questions that we can as well. Anything we can't, we'll try and do some research on it and come back with a video or get it next week. I'd say we'll probably do every Wednesday going forward or something like that. So I'm going to share this on Twitter. Paddy, if you have anything to say, and then we can kick it off.
No, nothing at the minute, Paul. There's plenty to go through. Actually, I've got a lot of topics here, and I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in them. And a lot's been going on. I think in the past, maybe a year or two ago, you knew everything that was going on in Cardano. So for me, over the Christmas period and even early January, I've been head down working on sort of World Mobile, and we'll go into that for a bit later on. But I've missed so many things, and even me, I'll probably catch up today because I've so much. There's so many projects and teams now. It's hard to see and keep track.
Yeah, what I used to like about doing the live streams as well is I used to find out some of the stuff that was going on, or find out about new projects as well, because people had asked me what I think about them, and if I hadn't heard of them, I could go off and look them up then as well. See some people in the comments already. Great. Just let us know actually if the audio is coming through okay from both of us. I think we should be okay, but good to get clarification on that.
I don't know if it's just the app that we're using, but it feels like my camera's shaky. But I think on the YouTube it's all good. So if anybody sees any issues, you can let us know.
It doesn't look like it's shaking or anything to me. Looks okay this side. Robert says audio is good. Cheers, Robert. Dirty says, where is Cornucopias at? I'm not sure, actually. I've seen they put out an updated roadmap and updated their wiki in the last week or so. I'm going to try and get Rob and Josh back on the channel fairly soon to have a chat with them. One of the other metaverses as well, actually, I had a call with Iconicos today, and they sent me over the files to install, and I had a walkthrough of their metaverse. Looks promising. I will hopefully have that video out tomorrow as well. Mini Magic NFTs, I haven't heard of them, but I will take a note. That's something to take a look at later.
And Paul, you know me, I'm not a wild into my metaverse. It's not a topic that I get into that often. But who are you following? Who's exciting you the most? And who do you think's going to make, say, at the end of the day, it's a game, but brand.
Yeah.
So from what you've seen,
I don't know. It's, for me, someone has to create a game that rivals the games that are out there in the real world right now, that are being played on PC or Xbox, and we haven't seen that in blockchain yet. Yeah. A lot of people take the approach of, we'll build a metaverse or we'll build a game and we'll just tag crypto onto it through an NFT, but the quality of the games just isn't up to scratch. And the crypto world right now, it's still very small. To us, it mightn't feel small when we're in it, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, like even the gaming sector is so many multiples of what we actually are here. So I see that area as a really good way to onboard people into crypto, but we have the projects that are out there have to attack it from the mindset of build a game that can compete in the arena out there, that people will play the game because they want to play the game, not because I'm in crypto, so I should play the game. We have lots of different projects within Cardano alone trying to do that. Cornucopias, that was mentioned there, is definitely one of the front runners in that space. Iconicos, from what I've seen today, looks to be well on the way. Still lots of work to do there, though. There's, what else have we? I'm going to forget some names if I mention them. I know Claymates are building one as well. Haven't seen the inside of that, but that's a project that are doing a lot of things outside of just the standard NFT collection. So it's good to see there as well. I think Virtua have their metaverse. There's a few other ones as well. It could actually be a good topic to have some week to try and get as many of them projects as we can on and have a chat about that actual space, what's going on, and how they're all trying to attack it to win over market share. Because right now the market share for crypto is very small, so they need to think outside of that.
Yeah, I always wondered, what is a metaverse compared to an MMO? Is it just that it has blockchain? Is that the only difference?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities with it, really. It seems that there is the metaverses are trying to bring in more than just a game. They're trying to bring in, like Economies today were saying, they're building a shopping mall. So what they're looking to do is get brands to actually open a shop within that mall. So you could actually go into it, and instead of going to Amazon to buy your packages, you can go in through the metaverse and go in and buy there. And it's trying to blend real life into the online world. Now, some of them try and go too far. I think there's still some things you do need to do in the real world, and it's still open season. There's lots of things out there that just try and use the buzzwords of, we're going to build a metaverse, but in reality, there's not a whole lot to it.
Yeah, sometimes when I think about it, I go, well, Grand Theft Auto is a metaverse, simply because you can do everything in it that you can do in the real world. All right, it's more of a game.
Maybe some things you shouldn't do that you can do in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I get it. But to me, I always compare it, like, can you do more than what that game can do? But I definitely get the other side of it, of the online shop and the potential virtual reality. That is massive area. I know tons of companies out there who are working on stuff associated with that, because I can see it as a huge business model in the future. A metaverse where it's a shopping center. All right, shopping centers are dying away now because people don't leave their home. But if they have a virtual shopping center, I think that's going to be awesome. I can definitely see that. In the gaming side, I sometimes struggle, presumably because I'm a gamer to play and enjoy, not really earn. But anyways, so it's a good topic, and we should probably go into something later on it. And I maybe should do some research and see what everybody's doing.
Yeah, one part of it that really interests me is how they're going to build the economies within the game, because we've seen games come out and they're all the hype for a few months, and then once there's so many tokens in circulation, it just all crashes. Like Axie Infinity was the place to be. Would be 2 years ago now, where people were making crazy amounts of money. They were actually hiring people to play the game for them and earning lots of money doing it. And then all of a sudden it started to just completely fall away because the economy within the game wasn't built well enough. So that's something that I'd really like to dive into myself, just to see how these projects are going about it, because it's a really vital part. Because if they flood the market with tokens and everything, and people are only in the game just to earn the token, to sell the token straight away, then it's no good. You need to be giving them something else that they can do with the tokens within the game as well, to gamify within the game or within the metaverse, essentially.
Yeah.
But we'll try and set that up. That's, as we go forward, as we're doing these things weekly, we can try and do teams maybe every second week or something like that of a team, or we can work it out, see what people want from these live streams. Again, the idea of these live streams is to try and help people keep up to date, answer any questions that they have. We'll take a quick look at the comments, and then we'll jump into kind of what's newsworthy within Cardano at the minute. Bobby asks for a realistic timeline to an integrated WMT infrastructure. So World Mobile is part of what we're going to go through today, but testnet is out now, not publicly out, but it's out for individual Earth node operators. You've had some time to mess around with it, Paddy. What's your thoughts?
I have a good few things to go over, but probably a good time as any just to go through it all. But testnet is live, yeah. I think there is around, I'm going to guess because I don't know where everybody's at, between 10 and 15 validators. And if you want to compare that to Cardano and some Cardano language, it's stake pool operators style thing. They're validators. And they're all running their individual nodes there. There's a lot of test nodes being spun up and ruined and taken down. I've done a few myself. So you'll see a lot under my brand, Shamrock. So what are we doing? Testing out the chain, basically. Ramping it up, getting more validators on daily. Trying to flesh out the design and architecture of how the nodes will be set up, from the validators to the relays, and how you can design a failover and disaster recovery process for all that. There's multiple architectures and designs out there, but it's just to flesh it out and have the documentation for all the Earth node operators who are coming along. There's some out there who will be very technically advanced and some not so. So it's to make sure it's all good. We also have the plan is to get everybody in there eventually. It's probably going to take a couple of weeks. I know there's new validators or Earth node operators coming in every day. I know there's multiple who've probably been accepted today and yesterday, which we'll start to see them ramping on over the next couple of days. The other side of it is we have our monitoring and Grafana and alert systems all being set up and designed and documented for everybody, and everybody's contributing. All the Earth node operators are in there doing the work. I think there's a lot to do on the testnet, I guess. I don't think we've got into the area of actually load testing and going through massive amount of transactions. I expect that to happen over the next couple of weeks. I did spin up the what you can see on screen here, Paul. So it's just an explorer, just to show the blocks are churning. There will be transactions every now and again where we're testing a few things out, or we're submitting things, or like myself, I went through and tested there's a jailing process within the node, or within the network. And what that means is that if you're not an honest or a well-run Earth node operator, you can end up in jail, which is a very strong term for it. But it means you will miss out on rewards for the people who stake with you. So unlike Cardano, there is voting power based on the amount that is staked with your node. That is a massive part of it. But also, if your Earth node operator is not operating very well, which isn't as bad in Cardano, you can go down for periods of time, especially when the block allocation is completely different. The getting jailed is quite serious, so it will mean less rewards to whoever's staking with you. So the idea is we're testing it out. I've tested it. I've been in jail numerous times. Luckily, I've managed to get out again, and now we know. And there is other people who will go through the same process as other Earth node operators come on. They'll test out going to jail and get released, and doing that process. It's very similar. It's very practical things. Your node is down for a period of time. The main net amount isn't set yet, but on testnet it's like something like 15 minutes. If you're down for, you go to jail. And then you just verify that everything you're stopping processing and it's all good. Another is which is quite a bad thing to do on most blockchains, is double signing of blocks. It's an instant jailing. I think there's one or two other things I'll have to check, but they're the ones that I know of off the top of my head that we went through. So yeah, a lot has been going on, and it's great to see the chain up and running. And there's things being learned every day, and more tooling and research going into it by all the Earth node operators, as well as the World Mobile team. And I think I don't know what they're actually working on and change at the minute, but they have identified a few things that we're going to change and put out for, I'd say, maybe a next version. So I don't know if I talked for quite a bit there. So if anybody has any questions on that bit, if not, then I think it covers most of it. And have you anything questions yourself, Paul, or is that all good?
No, I think you covered most of it there. It's good to have the testnet out there. In terms of mainnet, I have excuse me, I haven't seen any timelines on that yet. suppose it depends on how testnet goes. I just got my email 10 minutes before we went live here to invite me onto the testnet. So the next few days, I'll be digging into that as well and getting to have more of a look around. But from everything you've been saying, there are lots of differences to Cardano stake pools and how they're run. It's going to be with Cardano, once the node is up, then things are good. Then you're going to get your rewards. But WMT is going to be very different in terms of that. So maybe once I've done a week or so on the testnet, we'll be able to have a better conversation here that people will be able to get more information from as well.
Yeah, I think the bigger, it's all good to have the testnet up and running, and it is great progress. That is 100% fact. The big areas that we will, we are going to be I'm going to be very interested is the bridge between the World Mobile Blockchain and Cardano. There is part of the testnet that verifies a process of NFT. We can go into that in a minute. So there is a bit of a bridge, I think, already there, and I haven't seen it, but it does work on the testnet. The other side of it is staking, is going to be quite interesting because that's going to be part of the whole bridge process. I'm not 100% sure on how it's going to work. Plus also the rewards mechanism. Those two big topics are going to be very, very interesting for me. I know testnet's just begun and the World Mobile teams, they're busy. They're churning out new things all the time, but they're the big topics for me. Technically, for sure, but also for everybody else, it's going to be the rewards processing and the bridging process to see how that will work. I think the one thing that I would say is I don't expect anybody to have, and it's been sort of partially confirmed, that they won't be moving any tokens anywhere. It's all an integration between the two chains that, for example, you will likely stake to a Earth node operator via Cardano, and that gets replicated. I don't know how, and I haven't seen it yet on testnet, but I would expect that to come out in the near future. That is the areas I'm looking forward to. So just to touch on then the NFTs. So everybody's probably seen the World Mobile NFTs are being sold at the minute from a mainnet sort of level NFT. Before we go into just that bit, Paul, we have a testnet version where we are able to register against these NFTs that verifies us as a validator on the World Mobile chain. So there is a bridging mechanism that happens there, and there is a smart contract that is involved there, which obviously once I register this NFT as me and I become a validator on the mobile chain, it gets locked in a smart contract. So stuff is going on in the background. I haven't seen the fine details on it yet. I'm really looking forward to the team, talking about it, and that could be one for the future. I'm trying to invite them on to go through some of these topics, but there is bridging of some sort. But that will be a great topic to see and the team to talk about.
Yeah, the World Mobile team is definitely one that we'll have to get on fairly soon to talk all about this as well. There's lots more people starting to take notice of World Mobile, even from the NFT side. People in the NFT community that's seen big sales for the Earth node operator NFTs started to look and see what is the project that was selling for 100K ADA. Now, just for anyone who does see this, the NFTs that are for sale here, to get an Earth node NFT, you had to reserve them. There's only ever going to be, well, the plan right now is to have 1,000 nodes. So you had to have them reserved before this. The only way to get them now is to actually buy through something like JPEG Store. And I would say make sure you go through some of the official marketplaces, especially since right now there's no royalties on this. I haven't heard anything about royalties being added into it. So the seller gets all of the ADA from the sale. So it's worth doing it through this just for your own security, no matter who the person is or you trust or anything like that. I would say, unless you know the person in real life, then use some of the trusted marketplaces. But these NFTs have 100K WMT wrapped into them as well. So when you pay, if someone was to buy this one here for 92,500 ADA, within that, you also get 100,000 World Mobile, and this NFT is what enables you to run a node within the World Mobile network. So as things go on and as we get deeper into testnet, hopefully we'll be able to show you some of the nodes and some more stats and stuff like that around how the testnet is going. But that's probably all of it on World Mobile. I seen they put out more air nodes as well. I think it was up to 236 now in Zanzibar. So it's good to see them numbers still going up as well. Anything else on World Mobile before we go to the next topic, Paddy?
No, I think that's it. It's 560,000 ADA in volume. How many's been sold? 5?
I think that's actually wrong. It's not counting one of them. So when you look at the activity, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them being sold. And so the volume should be closer to 700,000, I would say. One of them isn't being counted. I think it was one of the early ones here. This one here, I don't think was counted. I'm not sure why it's not counted in the volume. But in terms of price, I would say there's still lots more of them to come onto the market yet. So I'm watching it to see how it goes. I wouldn't be rushing into it just yet. Everyone decide for yourselves. I have an Earth node, so it's easier for me to say not to rush in. But everyone make your own decisions and look into some of the returns and whether you really want to be a part of the network and help run the network, or if you're getting into it just for a quick flip. I would say at these kind of prices, these aren't something for a quick flip like some of the other NFTs that are out there. These are to enable you to be part of the network. So move on from World Mobile then. Let's take a quick look through the comments, see what we've missed. Do I know anything about Wi-Fi? I have had Stephen on the channel a long time ago. I do need to get him on again. I did have a chat with him at the Cardano Summit, but the audio didn't come out that great on the video. So I must try and get him on fairly soon again to get an update on that. Revuto is a project I don't know a huge amount about. I know there's subscriptions, services, and it gives you control of all your subscriptions, but I haven't looked at it in a long time. Do you know anything about it, Paddy, or is it one you followed?
I know as much as you, and it's probably as much as what the comment states. Probably most people might have underestimated, and if they have made great advancements, then that's awesome. I love the idea of it. I really do. So I'll mark it down as a research topic for myself for sure.
Yeah, I must go back into it. I know I looked at it when they come out, and I couldn't see why crypto was being added into it, or why you would need crypto when there could be a third-party service just to manage your subscriptions with a prepaid card or something like that. But it's one I definitely do need to follow up, because that's over a year ago probably since I looked at it last. Greetings from Netherlands. Greetings from Ireland, Grizzly. Thanks for dropping in. I heard Cardano is the most activity in any blockchain during the bear market. That is, yeah, that's a good thing. And follows up just saying dev activity. Yeah, most weeks Cardano comes out to be one of, if not the top chains for GitHub submits. Now, I haven't looked into, sometimes you look at projects and what they submit on GitHub might be very small updates. I'm not sure on the Cardano side what they are, but they generally are one of the most active. I don't know if you keep track of the updates or anything like that, Paddy.
Yeah, I was critical of that before, just from, software engineering background, and most of them are fine. They are substantial commits. The vast majority, like any sort of devs sort of setup. And I had been that guy. Are they really? But I did chat before, and it was legit. They're building, and I think they're just constantly building. And that is the simple fact of it. You can sort of see that of all the releases over the past year, and I would expect to see him this coming year. We should probably do some sort of topic on it, maybe not today, on everything that we expect to come this year.
Yeah.
On Cardano 2023.
Hey, Vasilis, moving down as well. This must have been about when we were talking about the metaverses and stuff. Yet they do need to have products or something within the economy that people want to actually buy, or that they want to earn the tokens within the game to buy, or within the metaverse or whatever it is, to buy then as well within it, and not just earn the tokens to go out and sell them somewhere else, or just dump them straight away to earn funds in another place. And I would say when these projects come out first, and if you're earning good sums of money with any NFT project or anything like that out there, I would say, even if you're in it for the long term, make sure you're taking some profits early on in it, because generally these things shoot up when they come out first, and then they always fall back down again in terms of price. They will find their floor and have a bounce as well, but taking DCA out along the way up as well, even if it does keep shooting up, it's no harm to take profits. Generally with them types of things, the market gets flooded with new tokens, and the price will come back down if you do want to buy back in later on. Cass has prediction for the utility this year. I'm not sure if that was related to something earlier, or what you mean just by utility. Am I reading that wrong, Paddy?
I'm not sure what utility. Maybe Cass can let us know.
Yeah, Cass, just comment again, and we will go through it. Melvin, any update on Meld? Meld was something that we had to have a quick chat about as well, because have I got it? Yep. So I'll bring back up the stream here. So Meld, there was a very mixed reaction to the announcement from Meld that they're going to be multi-chain. There was some people who thought they were moving away from Cardano and moving to Avalanche. It seems when you read into it and their responses as well, is they're going to be launching on Cardano first, but they will be multi-chain then as well. I haven't looked into all the details on this myself yet. Avalanche is who they will be opening up. I know that they were building the bridge to Polygon. I'm not sure what the latest is on that bridge at all. I did actually message Ken last weekend, and we're going to sit down for a chat fairly soon. So questions that people have, do let me know, and I will put them to Ken when I get to have a chat with him, hopefully within the next week or so. What about yourself, Paddy? No?
Maybe they were ahead of the game, and or maybe knew the news between Avalanche and Amazon was going to come out for them. So I just put two and two together there. I was like, oh yeah, actually, and I'm doubting they knew, but that's another very hot topic. So I can see, and maybe that makes the decision even more valid. But yeah, I think the general feeling that everybody felt as if Meld was abandoning Cardano, and I know they have come out strongly and said they aren't, and testnet is going to happen. I think it's quite soon, isn't it?
I think testnet could be live. Actually, someone sent me a link to apply to get access to it, and only you just said that there, I forgot. It was sent to me while I was away last week, and I forgot about that. So that's something I need to go back to and see, can I get onto it and see what it's like?
Yeah, so as they say, the proof will be in the pudding. They get that testnet done and they get the product released. It sort of kills that whole discussion of abandonment.
Yeah,
no doubt it's probably they're setting themselves up so that their dev team, I don't know the size of it or what's happening, and they did go through a bit of was it their CTO left recently?
Yeah, I think a good few months ago now, Hai left the team, and I think Ken said he left blockchain altogether and he was gone into AI rather than blockchain. I know he was very popular on the team and seemed to be a very smart guy when he was there. Yeah. And they went through I think they scaled back their teams as well and started to concentrate on the basic features they were going to put out.
Yeah,
it's probably a bit early to be talking about other chains. They should deliver on Cardano first. They raised a lot of funds on Cardano. They were the first ones to actually go through the ISPO model and had, I think, 9 pools at one stage. So they got a lot of ADA in for that. So they should be concentrating on launching on Cardano first. But I do think multi-chain, cross-chain is the future. No one chain is going to do everything. So it's no harm looking across chain and being available across different chains, but make sure you concentrate on your main priorities first.
Oh yeah, no, that is fact. That is 100% fact. There is so many people. It's probably one of the most invested projects within Cardano, and not only from people buying in, but also the amount raised from the ISO, the stake offering that they did, where I think I can't even remember the amount of pools, but it was quite large. And they did withdraw a lot of rewards from the Cardano blockchain to be able to fund what they're doing. I have been disappointed in the project, that is a fact, and you know that, and in the delivery of it, because but sometimes I think to myself, they've raised so much, why is there nothing there? But they're going to prove me wrong, because they're almost there by the looks of it. And you're right, yeah. Throwing out a comment that we're going to another chain, or we're going to integrate with another chain, or we're going to do this. People go like, what's going on? And also it didn't sort of work out at a good timing, as well as the a little bit after CTO, and people are like, well, is this turning into a rug? But it's good to see that Ken and the Meld team have come out strongly, and they're still there. There has the projects we've talked about them, they've left, they've messed up. So let's hopefully they get over the line, and and let's hope they bridge to Avalanche. It would be awesome.
Yeah, look, what Meld are trying to build would be a really good product for the ecosystem, and loans integrated with fiat as well would be brilliant for Cardano and for crypto in general. So I will hopefully get Ken on in the next week or so and have a chat with him and find out what the latest is on it. We touched on this there as well. It was mentioned. I haven't been able to read this. This literally came out not too long before I jumped on this as well. Was Amazon Web Services, AWS, has partnered with Ava Labs, the company building out the L1 Avalanche to help scale blockchain adoption across enterprises, institutions, and governments. Two firms exclusively told TechCrunch. I don't know what the details of this are. I've seen the Avalanche price pumped by 13-14% on the announcement of this. Obviously, partnerships like this are really good for a crypto ecosystem to get, but I don't know if you've read it at all yet, or might be something we'll have to cover the next time.
Hot topic. But again, of all the companies in the world to sign a deal with, that would be the number one that anybody would want to get involved with. Not only because they run one of the biggest ordering online e-commerce ecosystem in the world, but also their online cloud hosting and infrastructure and everything that they have in Amazon Cloud is amazing. And near enough every company in the world is starting to use it. Now, I don't know, is this going to be them offering Avalanche as a service, as they do with other services on Amazon Cloud? Got to get into it. I'll probably get into it after this. And congrats to them, and congrats to the chain. Whether or not really it'll matter much to that said chain and that token, I don't know. Is it a sort of technical partnership, and how they roll that out to give that to people? I don't know. I'm sort of expecting something like that. I don't expect it all to run through that one Avalanche chain. It's, especially if they're talking about institutions and governments, it's not possible. So, I can understand the price pump of Avalanche. Yeah, great. But I do not expect governments and institutions to run through the Avalanche blockchain. It's just not going to happen. And I know it's going to come. I know it's going to come after this news has come out. Why not Cardano? That's what I'm expecting soon.
Yeah, we take that there. That was on the announcement of it. What is it actually? So it was 20% within the hour on the announcement, and has pulled back, but still right now up 17% since the announcement. So it's look, it's good for crypto in general. It's obviously we'd like to see bigger partnerships with Cardano as well, but congrats to the Ava Labs, and this is good for crypto. Getting big companies like Amazon involved and getting commitments there is really good. I know Amazon was it Amazon that had the partnership with Solana just before FTX and everything?
That was Google. Google.
Oh, Google. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't quite go to plan, I don't think, for them. But we'll dig into it anyway. the partnership and have a chat about it in the next week. Anyway, on partnerships, then we have, where's the post?
Actually, that was a good way of swinging in here, Paul. I like that.
Yeah, it's all flowing fairly well here, isn't it? Axo put out this one about, I think I have the one open here. Axo Trade are not going to get into partnerships with, or they're not going to promote partnerships with other projects anymore. And I think this is actually a good thing overall. Look, there's some partnerships that are good, but if we're honest, 95% of partnerships in crypto are pure bullshit. They're just like, yes, we're going to list coin X on our decks, or we're going to do this, and really they do nothing. It's all about marketing, partnerships, and promoting the other projects. So I do think this is good. I think it's okay to have legitimate partnerships where there is actually going to be some partnership or some connection between the projects, but them kind of ones of, we're going to list this or we're going to list that, they're not real partnerships. They don't do anything. They're just a marketing play, really. Am I off guard here or off?
No, you're right. What is a partnership? Sometimes when I see some of these projects releasing a partnership announcement, I'm like, what is this partnership? What are you both doing that is a partnership in some sort of general area you're working towards? So listing a token is not a partnership. Every DEX should want to list every token. So if you're going to be doing a partnership working on some product or feature or process, or they can have a charity partnership per se, where they're working together for a charitable good. That's a partnership. It just simply, you're right. And I like what Axo have done, because I think I've sent you numerous tweets of stuff of partnerships, and you're going, that's nothing. That's just a nothing tweet.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get hyped up about some of these things, and it's unnecessary hype. I feel it's marketing hype, and teams do it, and I understand it. And before people shout at me, it is to gather attention and blah, blah, blah. But I think sometimes people should need to be educated on the other side of it too, is that it doesn't mean there's great things happening. It just means that there is a potential for this project and this project to work together to some sort of level. It doesn't mean, okay, we're going 100x now. It's most of them don't do anything to price. They're very much just an informative marketing sort of play to garner attention. Is the way that I see them. And it's good, it's good to an extent to do that. But also it's good for the people who read them and keep track of them to be aware that, that most of them are just fluff.
Yeah. Most partnerships, like I said, I'd say 95% of them are pure BS. They do nothing. They're never going to do anything outside of just help promote each other. So I do like that from Axo, that they're essentially not going to promote other projects. They will work with other projects, but they won't be using that as a marketing tool just to promote how good they are. So it's good. Shane says NFTs equals shit. And I would say a lot of them are, yes. Now, there are some good projects coming out there, and I see things are changing where projects are trying to do more than just collections. Over the last 6 months or so, maybe even 12 months, we have seen a bit of a shift there. When Cardano got NFTs first, there was just random 10K drops happening all the time. Projects were never going to do anything outside of the drop. They promised lots of stuff, but a lot of it was shit. So it's time now for projects to start delivering. We're starting to see a bit more innovation out there with NFTs as well. The idea of NFTs, I think, can be very good once there's utility behind them. So real world access for NFTs, something like tickets for an event. So your ticket into an event is an NFT, and then after the event, so you can go in and you can get the exclusive footage of the event, or it could be your VIP into backstage, or you can get access to discounts in the merchandise store through connecting up your wallet with that holds that NFT and stuff like that. I think there's definitely use cases for, and there's lots of other ones out there as well, but it is time for projects to start stepping up. We do see some of them on Cardano really starting to try and differentiate themselves as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out for NFTs in 2023. I had to look at the date there. I keep forgetting. And I'm looking forward to the trends. And I think ticketing is one. And ticketing for concerts is awesome, and events and meetups and all those type of things. I think is definitely a great idea. And I'd love to, I'd love that to continue. And even I'd love to see ticketing used for other innovative areas within ticketing. One area that I've thought about is season ticket holders for sports teams, like football teams. So say I'm a season ticket holder, they should be able to, people get little cards, but you should be able also to get some form of NFT for that, which would be great. So then you can just have it on your phone or within a wallet, and you can scan it and it's secure. Plus also, I think it's something that the football clubs are missing is people sell their tickets anyways, without them knowing. Well, they do know. I think they could probably do something better with that. Let's say they had JPEG Store, and everybody who has season tickets can sign up to an NFT version, and they get one for every single match. They can sell it and take a royalty, because what happens is if I want to go to, let's say, I'll pick an English team more people probably know, like Manchester United game. I know a lot of guys who are season ticket holders who could sell me that ticket for the game. I know they're not meant to do it, but everybody does it anyways. So I'd love to see something like that and the innovation in that area also. But I think ticketing is a massive area for NFTs. But let's see what 2023 holds. I'm not overly interested in the JPEG arts and copy paste 10,000, 20,000 collections that come out. They don't interest me. And there's people have been commenting that the World Mobile Earth nodes, they're worthless. I go, well, people who are paying millions of dollars for rocks, NFTs, and all sorts of craziness. Whereas the World Mobile NFT actually has underlying value, as long with utility. So more utility I think is the key.
Yeah, I agree. And even within games, the NFTs can be really big there in terms of the amount of money that's spent on in-game items right now outside of crypto. So just in the gaming industry is massive. So what they can be is that all your in-game items can be NFTs. So you can take them out then and outside of the game and sell them on marketplaces outside it. So there is a big opportunity there as well. If gaming companies get onto it, give people the option that what they buy in the game, they can just keep it within the game, or they can actually mint it as the NFT and then be used with something else. Rogue Galaxies from Endmaker, I talked to them a while back, and they're looking to do something along them lines. So I think that could be good. Just when you mention World Mobile, I presume this is World Mobile 51. What's up, man? If you actually wanted to jump in the chat, at the beginning we talked all about World Mobile, but if by any chance you want to jump on with us, then drop me a DM and I can send you the link. Or if not, some week we might set up that we can get you on to give us a few leaks about what's happening with World Mobile. Iconicos, we talked about that at the start as well. I will have the interview I done with the team coming out hopefully tomorrow. It just depends on how tomorrow goes, but hopefully I'll get that one out tomorrow. Thoughts on liquid finance? Again, I'm looking forward to that coming out for what liquid finance brings in terms of money markets. It's definitely something that has been missing on top of Cardano, and that and stablecoins are two things that we're missing. We're starting to see stablecoins roll out. Liquid finance is another one I need to follow up with and catch the latest on what's going on. And I had heard Q1 launch, but I'm not sure how likely that is. Again, I haven't been keeping up. Do you see anything lately, Paddy?
No, I haven't. But again, I get this as you're saying now, and there's so many things. It's so hard to keep up now.
Yep. Carlo, what's going on? Cass, price prediction for ADA in 3 years. It's extremely hard to put anything onto it. What's 3 years will bring us to 2026. If you look at the Bitcoin 4-year cycles and how the market cycles work, if we have hit the bottom in the current market, I'm not fully convinced we have hit the bottom, just with the wider macro economy, what it looks like at the minute and what the next few months potentially look like. But if we have hit the bottom, then it really is sticking extremely closely to the previous cycles. If you do that, the next halving event would be in April or May 2024, which would mean the new all-time highs for the market should be in 2025. So where does that leave? Prices still should be fairly good in 3 years' time, which will be 2026. I really don't know. To me, it all comes down to utility and real-world adoption. We see every cycle, we start to see coins that were in the top 10 start to fade away and fall away, and it's only the ones that really are building. I do think Cardano is going to be here for the foreseeable future. In terms of price, I don't know. I would expect it a lot higher than it is today for people that are looking to get into the market. I think prices right now, obviously not financial advice, anything like that, but I think the prices are very good if you're looking at that type of time frame. If you're looking at the shorter time, like looking at the next few months, then DCA for me is always good. Prices could go lower in the short term, but longer term, then yeah, definitely new all-time highs in my mind for ADA anyway. Paddy, are we going to die going to zero, is it?
No, I'm not going to be negative or positive on that. I don't know. And the only thing I will say, you're correct on the halving process. Same thing happens. It's happened numerous times. It likely will happen again, unless there's some crazy world thing going on of more wars or something. There's no reason why what you said won't happen. Yeah, that's as much as I'll give to it, and the only thing I would say is sometimes what I do, I play poker, and I don't mind a bit of a gamble. We're so far down, it's not, and all this madness of crypto going to zero and being useless and all this is what happens. This is standard. And this is the process that the general media goes through. It's useless, it's dead, it's dying, or whatever. It's not. So eventually things will, come back or go to some sort of level of normality and restore. The world economic outlook is pretty bleak, yeah. And crypto reacts more than the norm, if you want to put it that way. So once the world economies go back to normal and everything starts, and you're right, it could coincide with the halving, which will be awesome. Price, I don't know. Who knows what price will be? I didn't think we were even going to hit. What was it? $2.90? Was it?
Just over $3 was the high.
Yeah. So, I didn't even expect that. And that's crypto. That's what happens. It's crazy sometimes. So I'm not even going to try and predict where it'll end up. If the low, which I'm hoping is above 20 cent, that's still 10x above the previous low before the last bull market. I think we went as low as 2 cent. It might have been into 1 cent something in some of the days.
I think in the March 2020 crash, it went just below 2 cent or something like that in the wick down.
Yeah, so it would be great, and I would be very happy with it staying above 20 going into the next, bull sort of sideways, slow, gradual increase over the next couple of months. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into this chart, but just when I mentioned the 4-year cycle there, I had this one saved because it's something I plan to do a video on. But for anyone who hasn't seen the 4-year cycle before for Bitcoin, this kind of highlights how it all has worked. So green is where it's considered your consolidation and then into your bull market. Then you have your bear market, again, back into your consolidation, into a bull market then after the halving. So the blue lines here are the previous Bitcoin halvings. So you can see each time we have consolidation and then it really took off after the halving. Then you had your bear market. Again, you had essentially consolidation for a long time. Halving happened, then takeoff. Same thing here, consolidation, and then you had your takeoff. This drop here just before the halving was due to COVID, which was different to the previous cycles, but we still had the run up after the halving. At the minute, based on the length of the previous bear markets, you should be in around the bottom or very close to it. And then you should have consolidation up until, when is it? April, May of 2024. Now, consolidation is still moving upwards. The trend is generally upwards, but nothing too drastic until after the halving. So we'll see how it plays out. Like we said, there's lots of macro events that are going on in the world right now that Bitcoin hasn't been through before. And I know I'm talking about Bitcoin here, but generally it's the one that leads the overall direction of the crypto market, and it generally takes off before everything else. So if you look at your coin against the sats value, generally you'll see your coin doesn't keep up with Bitcoin initially, but then throughout the cycle, they can generally outperform Bitcoin by a few multiples if you get the timing right. But we won't do any more on price. That's not kind of what these streams are for. But it's definitely something I want to start doing a few more videos on, getting back into a bit more on my opinions on the charts as well. So what else have we not covered? Let's see. Let's see if there's any other comments. Maybe the next bubble is going to be in AI. Thoughts about Singularity Net, AGIX, Singularity DAO, SDAO, and UNet, NTX. So AI is definitely becoming the big buzzwords right now. You look at chat. What is it? Chat.
GPT or something. Chat.
Yeah. And what it can actually do from a few prompts, anything from creating an essay, from creating an essay to creating valid code or converting code from one language to another. Once you get the actual prompts to it right, it's incredible what's available. And I've seen some comparisons of what this version can actually do. I think it's 3.0 or 3.5, but what 4.0, the testing they're doing on it is just, it's crazy. Writing 60,000 word books within a few minutes once you give it the prompts of what you want it to be about. And AI is definitely going to be a massive future. It's an area outside of crypto that throughout this year, I definitely want to dive a bit more into as well. I think people who get into it and understand it early will have a massive advantage. It's going to replace so many jobs out there. But if you can be one of the people early on that understands how to work with the AI, how to get the prompts and how to get the best out of it, then there will always be opportunities out there for people like that who can understand. And I don't mean code up the AIs or anything like that, but learn how to get the best out of them. That's an area that I think people need to get into. And in terms of crypto, I don't know if Singularity or any of their family of coins have had big news over the last week, but I have seen that all of them have had some massive runs up in the chart. I don't know if that's just down to the AI narrative that's out there right now, or are you following any of them, Paddy?
No, I'm not. I haven't been into the AI world, but I definitely seen the pump on price on was it Ajax? I was like, wow, what is going on there? But I think it's coming from the general AI narrative, and everybody knows it is the future, you know. And I spent some time with the Chat GPT for a while there, playing with it, asking it things, you know, getting it to write me scripts or you know, create a script for a YouTube go live, you know, and I can do all that. And I seen something in I don't know if most people probably don't read newspapers anymore, but I had one that it was talking about teachers are worried about homework because kids are able to go on and generate their homework essay or their English essay that they've been assigned, or their write up for a book review, or all these things that they have to do in school. And they're just getting the chat to generate it, and then they just memorize it, and they know that everything that went on in it. And you know, the schools or the teachers don't know when you're going, well, where does it end? You know, they're never going to be able to detect that. They won't be able to detect if the AI wrote it. You know, but again, I digress. I go back to the on-chain ones. I'm guessing they're going up because of the popularity of AI, and I expect that area is massively, massively untapped, and it's going to be enormous in the world in terms of everything. Even Google with their and GitHub actually, with their they have code generations and stuff going on now to facilitate the recommendation how to generate methods and all that thing, and that's going to advancing. So software engineering should get easier for, if every language in the world is, they're basically taking all of the repositories that they have and using that to generate their AI. So anybody who or any projects that are involved in it. Now you're right, Paul. It's hard. I don't have any experience in it. I probably should sort of start trying to teach myself, but it's going to be massive. It's going to be involved in every part of every economy or every industry in the world.
Yeah, I seen some of that stuff about schools and people worried about, students are using these AIs to get by in college and stuff. And in some ways, I think it's not a bad thing. There should actually be, like I was talking about there, the people who jump on this early and learn how to get the best out of AI are the ones that will have a lot of opportunities going forward, because there will always be a need for human interaction there. So within schools, then maybe there's the option there to have courses to teach people how to get the best out of these types of things and to be able to utilize them, because there will be jobs for that sector. And it's like nowadays, exams and stuff, I think it's nearly lots more of them should be open book, because a lot of it comes down to how you do your research and how you interpret the results you get back from. Previous to this, it would have been from Google, but going forward, it's going to be from a combination of AI and Google, and how you interpret the information you get back and get whatever your task is, get that done then. But that's all outside of crypto. But one thing, just when we were mentioning the prices and the tokens there, we talked about this before as well, that one really good resource for people in Cardano is Tap Tools, and it's getting better all the time. And this is for any tokens on Cardano that you want to track. So we're talking about AGIX there. You can see over the last 7 days, up 43%. NTX, which is NewNet, up 8.7% in the last 24 hours. I think it was up even more earlier on if we go into it. So it had spiked up. It has had a bit of a pullback since. But again, this is a really good tool. And if you start to see some drastic price action on certain tokens, you can come in here and you can look at all the previous trades that have happened on that pair. So you can go down through it and start to see which wallets are making the trades, or if one wallet is selling the market down and then trying to buy it back up to essentially profit from driving the market down and then buying at a cheaper price. There's other tools like this out there for other chains as well. Dex Tools is a very popular one for Ethereum and Binance. They don't have Cardano integrated, so that's where Tap Tools stepped in. I'd love to see features that you have on other ones as well, where you can filter by certain addresses. So if you see that there's one address seems to be doing a lot of trades, that you could filter by that address. But for what the team have done here, it's a brilliant resource for anyone out there trying to trade within Cardano or just keep track of different tokens on what's going on.
I love it. I'd be on it daily. I think it's on my pinned tabs now, along with everybody's standard Binance, bit of Qcoin, Tap Tools is in there now, and it helps. It definitely helps. I love seeing how tokens are operating and how they're performing against Cardano, because a lot of them will. What I've noticed, like for example, World Mobile token recently, as Cardano had been doing a bit of a rally recently, you sort of see World Mobile go down a bit, which is good to see. People are moving their tokens, to what is currently going up, and I find that interesting. And it's also good to see, projects performing well. Generally, the prices should be going up because they're releasing, they're generating interest. And that's, for me, this has been a big thing that has been missing from Cardano for a while until it came. But yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, just when you mentioned World Mobile, you can see like For me, I come in and I take a quick look at it and see what are the coins that are moving, not even from the price perspective. That's not why I'm looking at it. I'm looking at what has had a big jump. So if I see something like Society there when World Mobile was, or you see NTX, and then I'd go off and research that project when I'm looking for content for videos to get the latest news out there. Generally, if you see a big movement, either up or down in a coin, it's a good starting place to go and see, has something happened with the project or what's going on? So use that as a starting point. And like this, you have all your trading view tools here. You can see I was trying to put in some potential support levels on this one here. You can draw it in and it saves it. So obviously they're there since, I think I was looking at that last night. So really useful tool to have there as well. What's next in the comments? Avalanche score partnership with Amazon. Polygon has a lot of partnerships. How come Cardano doesn't have any big partnership? It's very disappointing. Cardano, yeah, I'd love to see some of the big partnerships out there as well. I'm not sure how the Amazon one has come about, whether it's a pay deal or whether Amazon have actually genuinely partnered. From the brief thing I've seen on it, it looks like it's a genuine partnership. A lot of other partnerships you see out there in the crypto space are pay deals where someone has to come in and pay big money to get the partnership, to win the contract that's there. And the Cardano Foundation doesn't work like that for two reasons, I suppose. One is they don't have the budget to do things like this because they aren't the ones that took all of the funds at the start of the chain. With Cardano, the foundation, I had a chat with Frederick, and it's on the channel as well if you want to find out kind of about the foundations of where the Cardano Foundation came from and what they're actually doing. He's another person I'd like to try and bring on soon to see what the goals are for this year. But a lot of what they do isn't looking for them big partnerships because they don't have the budgets that a lot of the companies or entities out there that they're looking to be paid in order to form the partnership. So they don't go for them types of things because initially it was Emergo and IOG are the two founding entities of Cardano. And then the foundation was created after that in order to keep the vision of Cardano alive. And they were given a set budget, but it's nothing like the budget that the foundations for other chains have. So the foundations for other chains are generally the ones that founded the chain and do all of the development or the majority of the development on the chain. So they have the massive budgets to be able to incentivize DeFi and incentivize different things on chain, which the CF don't have that kind of budget. But obviously we'd all like to see, I'm sure you'd like to see Cardano partnered with Amazon, Paddy. It would have been a nice one to see. I know people will argue centralization on AWS and all of that, but these big partnerships still will be nice to see.
Maybe that's why they didn't do it. They didn't want to centralize it even more. That's what we'll say.
Oh, we'll say that, will we? Yeah.
We didn't want to do that. You know, it's against our morals. But yeah, you know, and you touched on one thing there that I brought up. We did meet a lot of Cardano Foundation guys at the summit, and we spoke to them, and they are working tirelessly on integrations, on partnerships, and all these things. You know, bagging Amazon is, that's massive. That's something that's, every company in the world hopes to achieve. And if Avalanche are in a full partnership where they're going to actively work with Amazon is going to use it, yeah, that could be pretty big. If it is, similar to the Google Cloud Solana partnership, yeah, that was nothing. That was just a waste. It's basically they ran a validator, which is just them using up some of their available hardware. So I don't know enough to go into it, but even to be announced in the same sentence as something like Amazon is great. Good for them. It's great. Congratulations. And I do think Cardano will have its day in this area. And things are, there is no doubt things are still actively progressing in Cardano on everything that's going on. We've touched on most of them. Hey, we're partnering with World Mobile. Is that not big enough?
Yeah. Someday, who knows what size they could be someday. If they can achieve even part of their plans, then it will be a massive company. I think we've touched on most of the topics we talked about before in a roundabout way. We didn't go through our set list. We took the comments were our keys to send us off. In E02's one of his recent threads, I mention him a lot on the channel. If you're on Twitter, make sure you're following him. Puts together these type of update threads of all the latest information. One thing that was interesting to see new development coming to Cardano is stablecoin swaps. Now, we still don't have enough of stablecoins really for these types of, I suppose, dexes to come to Cardano, but the way things are looking for the next few months, we definitely will have more stablecoins coming with JED, hopefully this month, USDA as well. There's a USDM out there as well. It's great to have all them options. I'd love to see something like USDT or USDC coming to the chain as well. But I know there's different opinions on why they don't come. Again, some of the reasons on that come down to you can't freeze the assets on chain. Native assets can't be frozen, where when you run them on Ethereum, then any USDT account could be actually frozen. The funds could be frozen because it's done through a smart contract. The other thing as well is, I don't know if this is true, but looking for big payments to bring the stablecoins over to Cardano as well. But on these, it's great to see Wing Riders are already out on testnet with their stable swaps. It's one, again, it's on my list to check out this week. Being away last week, I'm still way behind. But it's one that I have to check out to see how it all works. And I'll do a video on it fairly soon then as well on stable swaps in general, and looking back to a lot of these are going back to Curve and what you can do with Curve. Another one that's coming out, Subcritical done a thread on it here and gives a bit of insight into what stable swaps actually are. And that is Teddy Swap. It's one I haven't looked into at all yet. But again, it's something I need to have a look at. They're looking to build a stable swap as well. Have you looked at them, Paddy?
I haven't, Paul, but I don't like the name.
Teddy Swap?
Yeah, well, I guess it's a good move away from the food branding. I know Wing Raiders is completely different. Those guys have went a totally different route. There's a lot of food branding, but I guess we're into animal branding dexes now, which is good. I don't know what else you could call them, I suppose. I'm not very imaginative in name generation. But yeah, anything to deal with stablecoin transfers and, trading, yeah, I'm all for it. I went through this a bit, and it's pretty similar to the Wing Raider stuff. So Wing Raiders are a little bit more ahead in the game. They're testing that out, so that it'll be good. It's good to have competition, definitely. I definitely think it's good for another project to be releasing on Cardano, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I did look at the team actually, and it's good to see these guys who have proven, especially the guy to the left. I can't read his name from here, but he was in the Spark.
Clark.
Yeah. So proven guys, which is great. Also, you see a lot of projects that get announced and get right fanciful buzzword tweets and announce themselves in marketing, and you don't know anybody, which doesn't mean you shouldn't invest. It puts me more on alert that they haven't proven themselves. But anyways, yeah, that's my input on it. Yeah, let's go. Let's bring it on.
Yep, as you say, competition is always good. So it's good to see there's already two that we know of, potentially going to be others out there as well. It's like the standard now for anyone who hasn't seen stable swaps before. This is between stable coins. I'll do a video on it fairly soon. I want to dig into the Wing Riders testnet and also take a better look at Teddy Swap as well before I put that video together. But it's for swapping stable coins. You can have additions and additional layers on top of that as well. You can have other protocols that build functionality that can interact with it as well. But I'll talk about that kind of stuff when I put the video together. But yeah, good to see a solid team there, and with Wing Riders as well. I suppose they've proven in the past their technical competence, so it's good to see them expanding as well. And it's a team from a technical side that are really trusted in the community now, I would say.
Yeah, it's good to see that. The Wing Riders side are they partnering with Curve on implementing their solution? Is that what they've done?
No, I think they've built their own solution. They were just saying that it's inspired by Curve Finance.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Curve Finance is a great asset to the Ethereum ecosystem, and something like that is desperately needed.
Yeah. So it's good to see more innovation on Cardano outside of some of the stuff we've already seen. And that's something I'm looking forward to seeing throughout this year. Like someone mentioned, Liquid Finance earlier on as well. Meld have been mentioned. Projects like that are ones that I'm looking forward to seeing that are doing something different than is already on chain for Cardano. And there's other stuff as well. I want to see projects on Cardano taking advantage of the EUTXO model, doing things that you can't do on the account-based model over on Ethereum or other chains as well. So have I got any other comments? Anything else in your head, Paddy? And we start to wrap up fairly soon.
Yeah,
DL, no one should have to pay. Sorry, no one should have to pay the customer to get their business. Isn't there a law against that? I'm not fully sure on that, what the laws would be around it. I'm sure these types of companies have the wording right in their partnerships on getting around all of this. In terms of the stable coins, it would be essentially Cardano would become the customer rather than being the business, because they would be getting the stable coins over onto Cardano if that was done with USDC or some of them. In terms of the other partnerships that we've seen, then I'm not sure how they're all structured, but a lot of them do have pay to play is the way a lot of them go. See Changing Light Photography, appreciate the support. I know you've been around for a long time on the channel here. 2 top Irish lads horsing out the crypto info. And Junk, nice to see you around as well, man. Paddy, any closing thoughts or anyone watching, any comments before we start rounding up?
I think for me is I have a question and then I'll answer my side of it for yourself, Paul. The year ahead, we're at the start of 2023. There's a lot of promises, a lot of plans from a lot of projects. If you had to pick, let's say 3, even 4, or you can go as many as you want if you know tons of them that you're looking forward to or that excite you the most, and that's going to be coming out this year. Cardano specific, obviously.
Okay. So I can't speak about ones that left for another chain or...
No.
Cardano specific, I suppose I'm looking at ones, for me at this point, I'm looking at projects, not even in terms of looking at price appreciation for the projects that I'm picking. I'm looking at ones in terms of bringing value to Cardano and showing what can be done on chain, because I think long term that helps everything. Obviously, look, people want to see the tokens and assets they're holding, the price going up. But for me, this year, especially as the market's trying to stabilize and hopefully start to recover as the year goes on, I'm looking for ones that are actually doing something. Like, obviously, World Mobile is up there. We've talked a lot about that. So that's nearly given at this point for anyone who follows here knows that. I'm looking at other ones like Liquid and Meld in terms of the token and price appreciation of them. I think as they get up to launch, yes, token prices can go up, but them types of models, generally when they come out and the token distribution starts to really kick in, when you start earning tokens for taking out loans or getting involved, they both, I'm classing them both as in around the money markets side of things, kind of what Cardano was trying to do as well. That I want to see that type of functionality on Cardano, because I think it's good overall, good for the chain and good to show what can be done on Cardano. It attracts other people into the chain as well. I'm looking at JPEG Store advancing as well. They're continually bringing in new features on the NFT side. One thing I'm looking forward to them doing is allowing people to buy with other assets as well, not just ADA. I know you can buy with a credit card or Solana, or I don't know what the other one is actually at the minute, but I'm looking at things like that as well. I think especially in the case of World Mobile NFTs, where there's 100K WMT, we talked about this as well, that there's 100K WMT locked into it. If someone's holding World Mobile, they have to go and sell it on the market to get the ADA to then go in and buy at that stage. So things like that. And if you want to start on your projects, I'll keep thinking here. I'm trying to I'm going to go on to Tap Tools here and take a look down through the. So like the likes of Indigo doing a lot of new stuff on Cardano, showing. Especially one thing I really liked they done was obviously they've brought synthetics and I think they are officially the first stablecoin, even though it's a synthetic. They showed the possibility. Sorry.
That's a very debatable topic, the first stablecoin, because you have the other one from what do you call them? Where they built a sidechain.
Oh, they forked the chain.
Yeah. So it's.
I actually haven't looked into them. Yeah, we'll say the first one on Cardano.
Yeah, that's the best.
So what they've done is shown how you can use your ADA as collateral, but effectively you still earn the staking rewards due to how they've built the contracts, which I think is a brilliant feature. So things like that is what I really want to see this year to give projects ideas of what they can possibly do, looking down through it. So you obviously have the different metaverse ones. Again, I'm not going to pick any winners there. I own land in a few different ones. I own some of the tokens. I'm going to wait and see. Some of them will completely die. Some of them will, or one or two probably will really flourish. So that's the way I look at it. I balance it out that if I own a bit of all of the different ones, if I start to see different movements in them, I might rebalance that. But I fully expect some of them to completely go to near zero and some of them to just completely take off then. And looking down through it then, in terms of dexes, we have some really great dexes on Cardano. Again, functionality, it's great to have them. Dex tokens, they're not something I'm really going to hold long term because most of the time they only are good for governance, which if you're looking for making returns on your tokens, generally anything that gives out big rewards for staking the token or it's just for governance, doesn't have other utility, then a lot of times the token price is just going to keep going down. Bull markets, things can move up, but as soon as the markets get questionable, then the token price just drops. But what about yourself?
Yeah, so what have I got? Big thing for me, which, and everybody's been talking about it and everybody wants to see it, is, the stablecoin ecosystem increasing. And you mentioned, they've JED, USDA, there's loads coming. And they've been promised they're coming for a long, long time. I just want to see them out, and I want to see them out there, and I want to see them being used, and I want to see the growth. And I want to see, ADA being locked into the minting of JED and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to that because there's nothing like it. There is IUSD, but it's not done in the same manner as the way some other stable coins are done on different chains, now, okay, algorithmic it's had a bad run for a while. So let's hopefully Cardano can do it right. I'm not getting into the field, testnet versions that were on live. So the stablecoin growth definitely is massive. That's for sure. World Mobile, we've talked about it, we've hinted at it. Testnet is live. I think the roadmap is like Q1 or Q2 for mainnet. Don't quote me. Don't tell Mickey I said that. I think it's in and around there. I might be totally wrong, but I definitely remember. So that is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that, especially because then everybody gets to stake all their World Mobile tokens to like me and you, Paul. That's going to be awesome. They can start earning them as well. Then, and you did touch on it. And DEXs, I've been a big fan of everything that Axel have been promising. And I really
That's one I forgot when I was talking there, yeah.
So
you'll forget some.
It is one of them that I'm really looking forward to, and I want to see it. I want to know, are they going to be able to deliver everything they're talking about? And they've seen and they've shared, and it's going to be awesome. The other side of it is that it's going to change the game. It is a different style of DEX. It's more in the form of a centralized exchange capabilities in the form of a DEX, and nobody's doing it, and that's why I'm really excited to see it. The other big area, which you'll probably be surprised from me being not massively into NFTs, is NFT trends and changes. I want to see, and it's more of a hope for the year, differences, and different ways and different ideas, and different things coming out in the NFT sphere, and communities and people and projects that are all building there. I want to see, I really, really want to see differences. World Mobile has done one example. It's not even that exotic, but it is to start showing, utility with an NFT, not just art-based NFTs. I want to see categories of NFTs. NFTs aren't just art, graphical JPEG representation of things. There's more and more things that can be done with it, and I want to see that growth. I'm a big advocate of people being able to verify ownership of maybe expensive items. I don't have a Rolex, but if I did, how do you prove that you do have a real Rolex? There's a lot of processes of going through of proving, and you have to send it to people and bring it to people and, get it verified. No doubt there's processes that could be done with blockchain to improve that. They're doing it with wine on Cardano is the big one the Cardano Foundation have been working on. Bottles of wine can be quite expensive. I'd love to see more in that area, more expensive exotic items going along that way. So yeah, that's probably my main four. More mobile, stable coins, AXO, and NFT trends. They would be the big ones that I'm looking for. Obviously, Cardano is going to change and grow, and there's more enhancements. There's Hydra, there's side chains, there's Midnight, there's loads of other fancy exotic things coming, and I am looking forward to it. But there would be my 4 top areas that I want to see growth in for this year.
Yeah. In terms of Cardano, I would say stablecoins and side chains look like 2 big areas this year. Stablecoins will allow more DeFi. When you look at other chains, the most commonly traded pair is generally against the stablecoin, and generally it's many multiples of the nearest other one in the list. So we do need it, because especially bear markets, even bull markets, people want to trade in and out. You don't want to always trade 2 volatile assets, where ADA is a volatile asset. So if you're trading another native asset, you don't want to trade, or you don't always want to trade ADA against the native token. You want to be able to go into stables at some point. Let's see the last few comments we have. Rocky, thanks for stopping in. We should attend Catalyst. Yeah, I don't know if I have attended any of the Catalyst live streams before. Catalyst is something that they're doing a lot of work on improving. It's a good idea, but it definitely needs some work. I know Daniel does a lot of really good work there. He's someone I met at the summit. It was great to meet him as well. And I know he's really trying to push a lot of changes there. So it's something I'd like to see change over this next year as well, and make it easier for certain types of projects to be able to get funding, and maybe get funding quicker depending on the ideas that's there. And I don't know how you do that in a decentralized way, that it gets voted in and stuff. I know generally there's a long process to get your application in, and by the time you actually get funds, it's a good bit down the line. What else have we got? Marder, where to stake my ADA? In any of the Cardano wallets that you're using, you should be able to stake. And I won't mention myself, but if you look for SHA, you'll be able to stake to Paddy's pool there on any of the wallets. Eternal, Uroi. Uroi isn't one that I use anymore, really. Eternal is generally my wallet, or Flint or Nami. If you're using Nami and you want to delegate, if you do it through the wallet, you can only delegate to Bury, which is Alessandro's pool, which is definitely another good pool to delegate to. He does a lot of stuff in the community. If you want to delegate to another pool through Nami, then you can do that in combination with pool.pm. Just connect your wallet on pool.pm, and then you can delegate to any of the wallets there, or to any of the pools there. Constant 4% realistic. I presume, based on the last comment, that's about Cardano staking. We talked about the Bitcoin halvening in the 4-year cycle earlier on. Cardano kind of has its own halvening as well on a similar time frame, but rather than happening once every 4 years, it happens for Cardano every single epoch. Every epoch, the rewards go down slightly. And then over time, it's due to the way that it's structured. So there is a fund that is there that pays the staking rewards. So every epoch, there is 0.3% taken out of that, put into a pot. The transaction fees from the epoch are added into that pot as well. That's what then pays out staking rewards. So obviously, the pot that contributed the 0.03 or 0.03. I done a video on that a while back. I can't remember just offhand, but essentially every epoch, that pot gets smaller. So the amount taken out of it every epoch gets smaller as well, which means there's slightly less for staking rewards. The transaction fees obviously can go up over time and contribute more to what the staking rewards are. And that's what would be able to potentially push rewards up or stop them from going down. But we're a long way off that. Right now, I think there is about 120,000 ADA comes in from transaction fees per epoch, but the rewards paid out are around 13 or 14 million ADA. So there's a big gap there. It's not even 4% right now. I would say we're a lot closer to 3.6%. Or what have you seen, Paddy?
Yeah, it's in around between 3.5 and 4 is the sort of range at the minute. And one thing I would say is, and a lot of people have done it in the past, they'll see a stake pool who has a lot of luck at the minute, 4.5%, and they think, oh, that pool's luckier. But generally what happens is that will go through a period of bad luck. Now there's loads of factors that come into play that that you can't even consider, and I don't want to go into them now. But luck, current luck, and past luck and future luck is not a basis for selecting your pool. Now, if a pool is not minting any blocks, it's really, really low stake. It's maybe hard. It's hard to even judge any of that. So it's just that's just one topic that I brought up. But yeah, constant is not going to happen. Between 3.5 and 4, you might get a few over 4. Some people get really lucky some epochs, and it goes way up above. You might get a double epoch, but usually it goes down to about 70 or 80 the epoch after or the next one. So, it's quite, it fluctuates basically.
Yeah, I've seen the last few epochs, I've seen big differences in the assigned blocks and the luck factor. Basically, the rewards you get for an epoch depends on how many blocks you're assigned in the epoch, and that happens on a lottery. So the way I explain it to people is the more stake that's in a pool, every ADA that's in a pool is essentially a ticket to enter the lotto to get a block for that epoch. There's more technical ways to explain it, but generally this gets the message across. So the more ADA you have in a pool, the more chance you have of getting more blocks in the epoch. So 100% is the average, and generally most pools will average out over time. You'll have some that'll be way above, some will be below, and generally it does average out. Junk, Paul and Ben Cowan, the only channels I trust. I really appreciate that. Ben is a very good guy in the ecosystem, in crypto in general. I would say, I presume you like looking at the charts and price, and someone else will put into that is All In Crypto. Really good guy as well to give honest opinions on the market and not just tell you what you want to hear. Ben is very good at that as well, in not going along with the crowd and saying, yes, things are going up or things are going down because the rest of the crypto space or YouTube space is saying that. They will always give their own honest opinions on it. So it'll add All In Crypto to that if you're not following him already. Rocky, ChatGPT is coming. ChatGPT, it's here, and it's going to cause a big upset. And it's the first of many AI, I don't know what you would call them, that are going to come. And even on the image side, you start to see lots of different things coming out now of AI generated images. This is one for you, Paddy. Thoughts on Python on Cardano?
Yeah, so Upson is, I've seen that today, and it's a great announcement, actually. They generate Plutus from Python, which I think is awesome. Why? Because I can write and understand and do Python like a vast majority of any other software engineer in the world. It's not as complex and as hard to do. So I think it's a massive announcement. And it's probably not got the traction of what it should. And I hope, Cardano Foundation, IOG, and everybody, and, I think it's on New News or something earlier, needs to announce it, because we get so much flack on Cardano. Oh, you only can write in Haskell, blah, blah, blah. And, the Cardano fodders and everybody who hate Cardano use it as a stick to beat us with. But this is massive. And it doesn't open up into any security vulnerabilities that people might think of what they might expect or sort of happen. You're still getting Plutus out of it, and it's awesome. So yeah, I think it's a great thing to happen. My Python isn't as good as my JavaScript in terms of writing probably writing it, so I might need to brush up on it. But it's not too hard to learn, which is I think the main factor of it.
Yeah, I think there's a few different options out there. Like you say there, people say that Cardano, you have to be able to write Haskell or Plutus to be able to build anything on Cardano. But I've seen over the last 6 months especially, there's lots of different toolkits are starting to come out and lots of different options to let people write in other languages as well on Cardano. And it's probably something we could do. I was planning on trying to organize a video and getting a few of them different people that have built them resources or people behind being able to do Python on Cardano, getting them all together on one video to talk about building on Cardano. But I'd definitely like to have you in on that one from your own experience, your own programming experience. You'd be able to ask better questions than I would on that.
Get in Peter Lang. He's the guy who's created the Python.
Okay.
I'll send you his Twitter after this.
Yeah. There's a few of them I've bookmarked of other ones as well that I'd like to get a few of them onto one video so that people who are thinking about building on Cardano then could watch it and see what are the different options, that it's not just one way to build on Cardano. Cody is king. I don't actually own any Cody right now. It's not a project I follow too closely. I know I had Shahaf on before Christmas. We said we'd do a follow-up and talk a bit more about Cody. So maybe I'll be converted, but for right now, it's not one I personally have in the portfolio.
You need to pump my bags, Paul.
You got a bag sitting there. Sorry, yeah, it's brilliant.
That's financial advice.
Pump Paddy's bag. Thoughts on Iconicos Unbounded Earth. So I talked about Iconicos earlier on because I have a video coming out with them, hopefully coming out tomorrow. I recorded today and I'll hopefully get it put together tomorrow, showing their metaverse and walking through it. Unbounded Earth isn't one I know about. You heard of it, Paddy?
No, metaverse areas, I'm lacking in it, man.
Yeah, I know the name, but I haven't looked into the metaverse at all. Salty Seagulls have formed a DAO that buys CNFTs for the benefit of all holders. Do you consider this a utility? I suppose it's a utility. Is it that everybody has a share of the DAO, that they could vote in the DAO to sell certain NFTs for profit? I'm not sure.
I think there's a few of those style of NFT collection DAOs.
Yeah.
Cool and interesting. They build a community, which I think is good for some people. I find them interesting, that's for sure. Are they a utility? No, not in a sense of what I'm referring to. So they're more of that's more of a community-based NFT collection group, and that all sort of come together. In terms of utility, I mean, what the NFT has nothing to do with art or the current what people perceive NFTs to be. More so, they are used for other functionalities in real life, whether or not it is a ticket, it is proof of ownership, it is, maybe a membership card, a form of DID, which that sort of represents. It could be your membership card to multiple different things. Someone could maybe make an NFT that is your membership card that you can use for, your shopping center or your other places, because you think of the many places that you sign up to, you get membership cards for. So there's loads of other areas that I think that haven't came yet. The proof proof of wine, as Cardano was doing with the bottles and stuff. The bottles information is stored on chain. That is more utility, what I'm thinking about, moving away from the traditional art-based NFT scene and getting into using it for multiple other different things is the utility that I'm sort of hinting at and want to see growing.
Yeah, just actually when we were talking about NFTs, we didn't, or I forgot to say about DIDs as well, is a good potential use case for them. And there's one project I've seen before where you do your KYC and everything, and then you get an NFT from that. So if you are getting involved with a project or doing something else that requires KYC, then that NFT represents your KYC. So you're able to essentially KYC with other projects or other entities, but you don't actually have to give them your documents. So your documents are only given to one entity to create the NFT. And then you can use that as your KYC for other projects or other entities that you don't actually have to give your documents to everyone. Because there's always the risk that if you give them to too many places that they get hacked and documents are gone, identity theft. So something like that is a good use case as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you an LP on Sunday Swap? I'm not. I only generally LP on AMMs when it's early on, when there's really high yield farming rewards. But as the yield farming rewards go down, then generally for me, the risk reward ratio isn't good enough to offer liquidity, because the potential impermanent loss, the risk of that versus the small rewards you get from yield farming just isn't enough. And actually on Sunday Swap right now, there's no yield farming, or there wasn't the last time I looked. They're waiting for the DAO to be able to vote that back in.
No, it's not something I do on any sort of token. I had done in the past, and I do what you say, Paul. Something new, and I have tokens. I'll stick it in the beginning, high percentages, high return, and then I get out and I sell. Generally is the process that I go for. That is, again, 100% not financial advice, that process. It's just what I do. And everybody has their own discussions and arguments and recommendations for these things. But what you touched on, impermanent loss, I just don't want to deal with it. And first of all, trying to calculate it and trying to work out after it's been in there 3 months, am I up or down? Did I actually make anything now? When I go, I lost money. What's going on? So I don't do it anymore. I just don't even put myself through it. So there is some, and I'd say there is people who have discussed some with me, and I'll not name any names, where it has been beneficial for them, and that's good. But it's the added risk again, and that's the big thing. There's a risk with it. Some will work, some won't.
Yeah, generally early on I'll do it, and when I do it, I will sell the rewards off nearly as soon as I get them, because like I mentioned earlier on about DEX tokens, generally the market starts to get flooded when there's a lot of yield farming. Lots of people get the token. The only thing they have to do with the token is either use it for governance or sell it off. So the token generally goes up in the beginning, and then as a sharp fall as yield farming rewards start to filter out into the community. And that's when the percentage returns you get on your yield farming starts to fall, because the token you're earning for yield farming, the value of that starts to drop. So that drops the overall percentage return for yield farming. So that's generally when I start to pull out any LP that I have in it. Okay, what else have I missed? Rocky, all in. Yeah, I heard that. I was happy to hear. I catch most of All In Crypto's videos, and it was good to hear that. He's definitely someone I actually should try and get on. I must reach out to him. We've only ever commented over and back on different threads, but I'd like to get him on the channel here as well. Not sure what that was in reference to, but good. ChatGPT let me write Python contract. Then told me I can have it translated to Haskell and gave me the resources.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's interesting future ahead. Happy with Fulham. Yeah, they've been doing for coming up to the Premiership this year. they've been doing very well. Mitrovic has really impressed a lot of people this year.
Well, if only I could say the same in my fantasy football. Yeah. But we'll not get into that. But in terms of the Premier League, yeah, well done, Fulham. I should have worn my Fulham World Mobile sort of t-shirt today. I'll wear it next time. Did I wear it the first time?
I think you had a Christmas one the last day.
Yeah, I did. I had my Christmas jumper on. No, I'll wear it next time.
Unbounded Earth have a rumble feature where you mint weapons and fight. That sounds interesting. Haven't checked it out, but I will see what the kind of quality of the game is. Unbounded Earth.
One game that I wanted to check out, I think Society have that poker game. I need to get into that.
Cardano Crocs or Croc Club. I've seen that one shared a few times as well. They have something.
Is it not? Was it Society token they use in there?
C4 is their token.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
I haven't tried it, but it's one I'd like to try. Maybe we could start organizing once a month an online poker tournament or something.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can live stream them. I think YouTube are fairly strict at times. I don't want to get my channel banned for
I think
having a bit of fun on one of them.
You have to use Twitch for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I actually set this to go out on Twitch today, but I don't know if anyone actually watched it on Twitch or even where I get stats. I have never used it before. Only just created an empty account. Bob says on Salty Seagulls, users propose buys in the community votes. Sells are also proposed in the community votes again. Every day we earn Salty, which will later be able to redeem for our share of the treasury. Okay, interesting. More Crypto Online does amazing TA. Haven't come across More Crypto, but it's one for me to check out. For sure, Dids, yeah, definitely a good use case. Thanks for the update. I think that's about the LP. What happened to the Jamo? We're supposed to have. Oh, we're supposed to have a whiskey session this time. Yeah.
I went for Bailey's.
Bailey's.
It's not.
I'm on the water tonight. I'm still recovering from. We're away last week and cancelled flights on the way home, so I'm still suffering from lack of sleep. But next week I'll have a whiskey on the show next week. We'll get a nice Jameson.
Yeah.
Was it microbrews?
Well, what
Foghorn American for you guys.
I had a bottle of Bailey's left from Christmas, so that's generally when everybody drinks it. And I have another bottle of stuff, and then I have loads of other drink from Christmas. Typical Irish house, I suppose, but stereotypical, isn't it? And then I went, do you know what? I fancy Bailey's tonight.
Bailey's, it's not a drink I could stomach. It's just, no.
So I'll have a couple of these tonight. That's enough for me. But yeah, I think I'm running out of beer, so I think I'm due to restock. So I'll get some interesting ones at the weekend.
Okay. Yeah, maybe whiskey can be the title of the show next week. The name I actually had before was Whiskey Wednesday, was when I was going to start doing live streams.
I'll be turning into an alcoholic if you start that, Paul.
Hopefully markets will pump after USA CPI data comes out. Yeah, markets have been doing fairly well the last few days. Oh, the chart I had up there is the AVAX chart, and it's after taking off again there. Again, all based on the partnership, I would say. But yeah, the markets seem to be getting a bit more positive. I'm not going to get too excited about the market bottom just yet. I'll give it another month or two before we start being fully convinced that we've hit the bottom. I really hope we have, but I'm not going to get carried away on it just yet with all the macro stuff that's going on. Uncles love Baileys.
Good choice.
My wife loves Baileys, but nah, It's not one for me. Bailey's the Christmas tipple.
Exactly.
Markets rage today. Yep, markets definitely. Cardano went up like nearly 20% in 24 hours there a few days ago, which was a massive jump. I don't see retail doing much right now, so it'll be interesting to see in time where them buys actually came from or who actually pushed the market up like that. Potentially some other entities out there buying. Well, time will tell. I know Charles is going to accept ADA at his clinics now, at his medical clinics. Some people said the pump was from that. I don't know if that's enough to really pump the ADA price by 20%. Every bit helps though.
Yeah.
Right. We're actually going a lot longer than I thought. We'd try and keep this one to 1 hour, but I'm just looking at the time now and I think we're a bit over that. Any closing remarks?
No, I thought my question for the year ahead would have been the end, but that's me. That's me. I have nothing else for this.
Yeah, we got a few comments after that and got sidetracked, but feel free to cut me off any week that we're doing this. That
all good for me. The good thing is we got tons of topics to try and research for next week, and no doubt there will be more releases from everybody. I don't know. The project list is endless. It's so hard to keep up.
Yep. And anyone watching, or I don't think too many people will watch back this far if they're watching the replay, just in case they do. If you see stuff during the week or anything like that you're not sure of, come on. Probably going to be a Wednesday night. If we set it as our regular show where bring any questions, we'll answer as much as we can, help out in any way. Over time as well, we'll try and bring on a few guests that give a broader perspective on different topics as well. But thanks very much for watching, everyone. We appreciate it. Paddy, thanks for your time as usual. Give the video a like if you haven't done it yet, or share it out. All of that type of stuff does help. Subscribe if you're new. Paddy's channel is listed in the description down below as well. Make sure you give that one a subscribe, and I'm going to be pushing Paddy to start getting the videos back out on his own channel as well.
Yeah. I have a plan for this week for World Mobile testnet coverage, so I just got to get it done. But anyways, yeah, thanks very much, Paul. This has been great.
Good stuff. All right, thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of the week.